Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our 24th online weekly cultural heritage of Kashmir series. Today, we commence our program by offering our condolences to the family of Padma Bhushan, Dr. R. Nagaswamy, who passed away on January 23rd. We are so privileged that Dr. Nagaswamy inaugurated our series on August 15th, 2021. We offer tributes by playing a short clip from that inaugural program. You can always watch our programs in MD's YouTube channel. Before we commence today's lecture by Shri Ravinder Pandita ji, let us play that inaugural video for a few minutes.
Pujya Swamiji, Mrs. Garrier, and all friends. It's a great pleasure and honor to be given to me for preside over this inaugural function and give the inaugural speech on the temples of Kashmir. Friends, it's a great country, Bharat Varsha, and we have the earliest recorded beautiful poetries, Vedas. In the Veda, we have reference to Imame, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Sutudri. Sutudri is the name of the Satluj river in Punjab, and which comes from Himalayas. So the history of Kashmir goes back to even earlier than the Vedas. I am going to confine myself to a few points of interest before I start showing you the great temples of Kashmir, wonderful temples of Kashmir.
Go and see the inaugural video. It's very unfortunate we don't have Sri Nagaswamy sir among us. He has promised to appear again in our program. I am in touch with his daughter Kala. He said she would compile a program for us as she has done a lot of work on Kashmir. We will get back to you on that soon. Now, before we commence today's lecture, we'll start with a short prayer.
Namaste Sharde Devi Kashmir Purvasini Tamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidyadanam Cha Dehi Me नमस्ते शारदे देवी काश्मीर पुरवासिनी त्वमहं प्रार्थये नित्यं विद्यादानं च देहि मे या श्रद्धा धारणा मेधा वदेवी विधिवल्लभ भक्तजीवाग्रसाधना समाधि गुणदायिनी नीलालङ्कृतकुन्तलं भवानीं भवसन्ताप निर्वपानसुधानदीम् भद्रकाली नमो नित्यं सरस्वती नमो नमः वेदाङ्गवेदन्ता विद्यास्तने भैव च ब्रह्मस्वरूपा परं ज्योतिरूपा सनातनी सर्ववैद्याधिदेव्ये तस्यै वन्यै नमो नमः ये वेना जगत्सर्वं सस्वजजीवनमर्थं ज्ञानदेवी यतस्यै सरस्वती नमो नमः ये वेना जगत्सर्वं मुकामुन्मत्तवत्सदा ये देवी वधिस्थात्री तस्यै वन्यै नमः
Thank you, Ravindra ji, for selecting such a very nice prayer song. We had the same prayer song in our programs earlier too. Now, Shri Ravinder Pandita's background can be summed up in few words as an activist on reclamation and renovation of 15 temples in the valley that are running 24/7 recently. We also want to thank Ravindra ji for working with us for more than a month. He has sent a lot of material, and summing up and presenting them, it's not possible in 1 hour. So he knows that he's going to return and give us more updates. Shri Ravinder Pandita is a civil engineering graduate from NIE Srinagar, Kashmir, with postgraduate diploma in business administration and industrial relations. He is the chairman and founder of Save Sharda Committee, Kashmir, a pressure group for reopening of Sharda pilgrimage in POK to bring amendment to LOC permit for facilitation of pilgrimages on both sides of LOC, that's line of control for pilgrims. His struggle has been on Sharda reopening and exploration in POK that was last held in 1948 by Guru Swami Nandlal Ji, a Kashmiri saint. He obtained LOC permit for travel across LOC that is meant for NK residents. This LOC permit was formulated by Minister of External Affairs after Vajpayee and General Musharraf summit and is in force since 2007. The landmark and favorable judgment passed by Supreme Court of POK, also known as AJK, on preservation of Sharda Peeth has been received by the head of the committee in New Delhi in January 2018. He held seminars in London, Nepal, and other places to raise awareness on Sharda Peeth, and even at the United Nations. Every 6 months or so, you get people to lay flowers at Peeth. The recent opening of Kartarpur corridor has added a new dimension to the issue and rekindled hopes for early reopening of Sharda Peeth. Organized Sharda Puja right on LOC at Keren on 26th August and simultaneously at Sharda Peeth in POK also the same day. This Navaratri vermilion Sindoor Tikka was applied at Sharda Peeth for the first time in last 72 years. Very recently, they claimed a 1947 historic site at LOC Teetwal Kashmir that used to be a base camp for Sharda Yatra, comprising of Dharmashala and a small Gurudwara, and are rebuilding the same. Bhumi Puja for same organized on 2nd December 2021 at the site. I'm sure he will highlight more in his presentation covering all these points. As always, we thank Sri Kanchi Bhatt for our ongoing initiative and offer our namaskarams to His Holiness Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal. With his blessings, we continue with our Kashmir Cultural Heritage Awareness lectures. Sri Kanchi Bhatt has always been in the forefront, modestly working with the sole aim of national integration, spiritual enlightenment, and spreading the uniqueness as Kashmir is our cultural heritage. We are now very pleased to hand over to Shri Ravinder Pandita ji. Today's program, he will direct us on what needs to be done. First, I think we will have a documentary followed by this presentation. Ravindra ji, please take over.
नमस्ते शारदे देवी काश्मीर प्रवासिनी तोहाम प्रार्थे नित्यम विद्याधानम च देहि शारदा वारदा देवी मोक्षदाता सरस्वती नमस्तस्ये 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 नमो नमः. My pranams to Gurudev Vijayendra Saraswati ji. I am connected, I feel like connected right now as if I am sitting in Kanchi before the Sanidhi of my ancestors, that's Sureshwaracharya Pandita, the eldest disciple of Adi Shankaracharya ji. And as is known, that Kanchi is one of the prominent places, associated with Adi Shankaracharya ji, and I have been frequenting, and I am very grateful to Jayendra Saraswati ji, particularly His Highness, His Holiness, and His Holiness Vijayendra Saraswati ji for organizing Shankaracharya Jayanti frequently in Kashmir. And I am a part of that for last many years. And that's perhaps the only institution or the mutt right now of Shankaracharya followers, which organizes a 7-day program in Kashmir Valley. We do it at Mata Jeshta Devi Temple, and the last day we celebrate it at Shankaracharya Hills, the Gopadri. So that's it. And I would like, for my struggle, it's a very long struggle, very long history of Sharda Peeth, can't be described in 1 hour. But before I start in 3 parts. Particularly one is the historical importance, religious importance, social importance of Sharda Peeth as well as Sharda civilization. Second part is what struggle we have been undertaking for the last 2 decades and what we have achieved primarily. Achievement is very important word, underlining what we have achieved and in recent years. And number 3 is what's the way forward. So we can't touch all the 3 aspects, and I think I'll limit myself to the struggle part of it only today. And before I start that, let's view the documentary, a short documentary, which though a non-professional, but I think you would love it, and all Sharda followers should watch it properly. Please, over to Shankarji, who has invited me today. So thankful and grateful. Let's watch the documentary.
शारदा शक्तिपीठ हिंदुओं की आराध्य देवी है। ज्ञान की देवी मां शारदा का प्राचीनतम शक्तिपीठ पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर के मुजफ्फराबाद से 150 किलोमीटर दूर मधुमती, किशनगंगा और सरस्वती नदी के संगम पर स्थित है। आजादी के बाद से इस शक्तिपीठ की हालत जीर्ण शीर्ण हो गई है। अब इस मंदिर के अवशेष ही बचे हैं। प्राचीन काल से यह मंदिर पूरे एशिया महाद्वीप के लिए ज्ञान और आध्यात्म का केंद्र रहा है। आदि शंकराचार्य ने यहाँ पर एक यूनिवर्सिटी की स्थापना की थी। यहाँ पर मधुमती नदी के किनारे हर वर्ष हजारों श्रद्धालु समस्त भारत से देवी के दर्शन के लिए आते थे। शांडिल्य मुनि के तप से प्रसन्न होकर यहीं पर गणेश घाटी में मां शारदा ने उन्हें दर्शन दिए थे। पाकिस्तान अधिकृत कश्मीर में होने के कारण अब भारत के हिंदू तथा कश्मीरी पंडितों की कुलदेवी रही मां शारदा के दर्शन नहीं कर पा रहे और ना ही वहां पर जा सकते हैं। मां शारदा के दर्शन करने के अभिलाषी लोगों को पुनः वहां पर ले जाने के लिए सेव शारदा कमेटी नाम की संस्था ने भारत सरकार से मांग रखी है और निवेदन किया है कि सिखों की ननकाना साहब की यात्रा के तर्ज पर हिंदुओं के लिए भी मां शारदा की दर्शन यात्रा की शुरुआत की जाए। रविंदर पंडिता के नेतृत्व में सेव शारदा कमेटी ने पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर की सिविल सोसाइटी से भी संपर्क स्थापित किया और वहां पर मंदिर में शारदा मां की एक फोटो भी स्थापित करवाई है। वहां की सिविल सोसाइटी के लोग इस मुहिम का जोरदार समर्थन भी कर रहे हैं।
ये उनका मजहबी मकाम है।
सही।
बहुत पुराना मजहबी मकाम है।
अच्छा।
ये नए वाली बात नहीं। माई शारदा जी के लिए वो लोग नंगे पांव आया करते थे।
बिल्कुल
नंगे पांव आया करते थे और अपनी तमाम ख्वाहिशात तमन्ने पूरी होती थी उन लोगों की। यहाँ पर
मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि आप भी इसी तरह हमारे ये जो हमारे यहाँ आपकी जो देवी है शारदा देवी मंदिर, उस पर तशरीफ लाएं।
वहां की सिविल सोसाइटी के लोगों ने शारदा मंदिर में फूल चढ़ाकर वहां के फूल और साथ ही साथ वहां की पवित्र मिट्टी को भी भारत भेजा है। वहां की मिट्टी और फूल को सेव शारदा सोसाइटी ने शंकराचार्यों, धर्म गुरुओं और सरकार के कई मंत्रियों को भेंट कर इस यात्रा को फिर से खुलवाने में सहयोग करने का आग्रह किया है। वर्तमान में भारत और पीओके के बीच एक परमिट के जरिए वहां पर जाया जा सकता है, लेकिन उस परमिट के जरिए सिर्फ वहां पर रहने वाले किसी रिश्तेदार के घर पर किसी विशेष आयोजन में हिस्सा लेने के लिए ही जाया जा सकता है। इसमें कमेटी ने शारदा माई के दर्शन करने वालों के लिए भी परमिट की व्यवस्था करने की मांग की है। इस मांग को लेकर कमेटी का डेलीगेशन पीएमओ के मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह, राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा सलाहकार केंद्रीय मंत्री मुख्तार अब्बास नकवी, विजय सांपला, अनंत कुमार हेगड़े समेत कई पूर्व सीएम तथा सांसदों से मिल चुके हैं और सरकार भी इस प्रयास में लगी है कि ये यात्रा फिर से शुरू हो सके। इस मुहिम को भारत सरकार के कई लोगों का समर्थन मिल रहा है। साथ साथ पीओके के सिविल सोसाइटी के लोग भी माई शारदा के मंदिर के जीर्णोद्धार तथा दर्शन के लिए यात्रा की शुरुआत का समर्थन और स्वागत कर रहे हैं।
And now he is demanding that they should also be going there for the tourism, religious tourism.
For all religious communities in Jammu and Kashmir, and even for people from beyond Jammu and Kashmir who have some sort of affiliation, any religious, spiritual affiliation with this territory, that they be facilitated on a personal level. I think that I can't succeed in whatever I'm doing if I don't achieve this particular milestone of reopening Sharda to pilgrimage as well as students.
Honored to be on a part of Ravinder Pandita ji's committee on Sharda, क्योंकि मैं उन इंसानों में से हूं जिसने हवाई जहाज से शारदा को देखा है। Very few people, no one, very few people would have known कि देखने के बाद ये पहचानते कि ये तो शारदा कमेटी है। So I am devoted to that myself and I would continue working for them, advising him on this issue, because इसके अंदर एक strategic समझ होनी चाहिए how to open the route for the Sharda pilgrimage.
इस जगह का नाम गणेश घाटी है। ये शारदा के मंदिर के साथ साथ ये भी बहुत ही अहमियत के हामिल है। कहा जाता है कि लोगों के कहने के मुताबिक कि यहाँ पे जो वो कश्मीर के जो और पूरी दुनिया के जो पंडित यात्री आते थे वो यहाँ पर आके ये जो मेरे पीछे जो गार आप देख रहे हैं इसके अंदर जाकर इसमें जो है वो चिल्ला काटते होते थे, एक किस्म की इबादत करते थे। और फिर जो है वो यहाँ पे एक और मूर्ति भी है गणेश जी की, जिसकी वजह से इसका नाम पड़ा है गणेश घाटी। तो उस वहाँ जाकर पूजा भी करते थे। जिस तरह शारदा का मंदिर बहुत अहमियत के हामिल है पंडितों के लिए, कश्मीरी पंडितों के लिए, दुनिया भर हिंदुस्तान के पंडितों के लिए, इसी तरह ये जगह भी बहुत ही अहमियत के हामिल है।
सेव शारदा कमेटी के लोग यही चाहते हैं कि माई शारदा के दर्शन का मार्ग दोनों तरफ के लोगों के आपसी सहयोग और सामंजस्य से पुनः स्थापित हो। जो अंतिम बार 1947 में स्वामी नंदलाल ने अपने सैकड़ों श्रद्धालुओं के साथ की थी। शारदा माई की चंदन की लकड़ी की प्राचीन मूर्ति फिलहाल भारत देश के श्रृंगेरी मठ में रखी हुई है। जय शारदा माई।
I am Venkat. We started our journey and came to Islamabad and then reached Muzaffarabad on 30th to have a darshan of Sharda Devi. It was our long time desire to have a darshan, as it is a Shaktipeeth temple, one of the Shaktipeeth temple listed by Adi Shankara, Kashmir Etu Saraswati. On that motto,
Apart from the full video that is being made by my colleague Malik Wasim, he is into his puja ritual, worshipping ritual, and these are short clips that are being made in addition as a supplement to
आगे इसको भी खोले, तमाम बोर्ड के इधर उधर मजहबी दिलचस्प पाकिस्तान साइड हमारा जो मकसद है ताकि यहाँ पे रिलीजियस टूरिज्म बढ़ावा दिया जाए सब जगह।
Kashmiri Pandits are deeply concerned with the Sharda Peeth, who have strong affiliation and staunch spiritual affiliation with the Sharda Peeth. I congratulate Save Sharda Committee headed by Ravinder Pandita ji, who are struggling and striving for reopening this Sharda Peeth for religious pilgrimage.
हमारा नमस्ते। बहुत खुशी है आप किसी तरीके से आप आएँ तो मैं अपनी तरफ से 10,000 रुपये के फूल आप पे निछावर करूँगा और ख़ुद आऊँगा इंशाल्लाह कि आपको इस्तकबाल करने के लिए। शुक्रिया।
आज मुझे खुसूसन रईस साहब की वजह से बड़ी खुशी हुई कि आज अल्लाह ने आपकी दिल की मनी जो मुराद थी वो पूरी हुई और मैं मुजफ्फराबाद से इस वक्त अपनी और आपकी तरफ से यहाँ हाजिर हुआ हूँ। हमारी ये लक्ष्मी देवी जो है ये हम सब के लिए काबिल इज़्ज़त और काबिल एहतराम है, क्योंकि मजहबी जगह जहाँ पे भी जिस मज़हब की हैं वो सब काबिल एहतराम है और हम आपकी वजह से यहाँ पे आए और ये खुशी आपको भी होनी चाहिए और हमें भी इंतहाई खुशी है कि आपने जैसे हमारा स्वागत किया और हमारे साथ जैसे जो है इस वक्त पूरी आप कर रहे हैं बैनुल-अक़वामी मीडिया पे भी और इंडियन मीडिया पे भी, इस पे हमको शुक्र भी अदा करना है और आपका भी शुक्रिया इसलिए अदा करते हैं कि आपने एक रास्ता बताया, उस रास्ते के लिए हम यहाँ पे तगदो कर रहे हैं और हमारे दिल जो है एक मुल्क के बासी हैं, हमारा खून एक है, हमारा मुल्क एक है, हमारा रिश्ता एक है। हमें आने जाने में कोई ना दिक्कत होनी चाहिए।
जय शारदे, जय शारदे।
जय
सकते हैं? नहीं सर, चल
लेने के लिए
अगर उसको बोलेंगे या बोलेगा
ठीक
चल
हमको क्या है यार, हम तो टाटा करेंगे भाई हम क्या करें। Walking down the bridge, the historical bridge, where we have a white line, we can't cross that, so that's why I am this side and my Sharda Peeth is that side. We'll go and we'll go. Jai Ho. We'll go one day to Sharda Peeth. Jai Sharda.
So they are hailing slogans of Jai Sharda.
Thank you, Ravindra ji. It was quite an interesting documentary, and thank you for sharing with us. And you could, as you said, one day we will visit Sharda Peeth, and it's going to happen thanks to all your efforts. So let's get started. Would you like me to share the pictures?
Sure, we should go one day. I am quite hopeful, Mr. Shankar, and maybe you will also come with me. That should be the separate Jai Sharda, and we'll go there. The importance, I think I need not stress, every one of us who are here are capable enough and knowledgeable enough to know about this Mahashakti Peeth. This, where the right hand of Sati fell, that's one of the, associated stories with this. And the one of Rishi Chandliya, who got darshana of Sharda Devi there at Tejia. Tejia is a place, it's a small village near Sharda. And we have a pond, the holy pond over there also. It's being still revered over there. And then, of course, the epicenter of modern day Sanatana, where from Sanatana is reborn, without going into the exact dates and all that, I bow my head to Adi Shankaracharya ji, the saint Sankara, who goes to Sharda Peeth, where Buddhism had overshadowed Sanatana from 273 BC, particularly King Ashoka period, to 750 AD King Lalitaditya period. And we didn't have even a single scripture around in 8th century, if you find out. Maybe around 6th century, we had the greatest saints over there, Chandracharya, whose mention is there in Kalana's Rajtarangani, the first recorded history about Kashmir Mandala. And Chandracharya, I believe, whatever is my investigation, or I am not an academician or an historian, I am a field worker, a foot soldier. But whatever I have gone through records across this side, that side, I have had discussions on Pakistan televisions with POK historians, researchers. We have about 4 researchers right now. Even 3 of the theses are based on my, statements and all that. I am proud to be associated with them. So are our researchers this side. So what I see, the main importance, that if I am Ravindra today, it's because of Adi Shankaracharya. Otherwise, my name would have been some Lundup Dorji. I would have been a Buddhist. Because Buddhism had totally overshadowed Sanatana, it's because of the visit of Adi Shankaracharya to Sharda Peeth, winning the debates over Mandan Mishra and the other monks over there, Buddhist monks, that he prevailed with the Advaita philosophy and came out to set up 4 mats in India based on 4 Vedas with 4 Guru Shabds, the eldest disciple being a Kashmiri saint again. So my roots are directly connected. The eldest disciple, Sureshwaracharya ji, is a Kashmiri, and his Sanidhi you can find out very well in Kanchi Math. And importance has to be gauged that this is the epicenter, this is the Peetham. This used to be the oldest university, much older than Taxila and Nalanda. This is the Peetham where from I would say that Sanatan is reborn. Otherwise, it was completely overshadowed. Before this, we had Judaism in Kashmir and Mandala for some time. And I keep on saying this in open platforms. Islam has only come in 13th century, and how these invasions and invaders have destroyed these particular spots, which they felt that the destruction of these spots would lead in a big way overshadowing the Sanatana, which was highly prevalent over that time. So Kashmir is the fountainhead, and another big story or the Purana which goes with this, that during the Sagar Manthan, the churning of the sea, whatever Amrit nectar was, could be fetched by a brown sparrow with yellow color beak. That is called Maina. That is her in Kashmiri. And she got a small pitcher, took that nectar, and she had to land it at the present Sharda Peeth place. And in between, two drops fell at Kalusa in Bandipora and one in Gaglusa. So those are the natural Shila formations. And then the final picture resting place is in Sharda. So geographically, what I have to say, before coming to the geography, I have to end up here, that another connect, my inspiration with this project, with mission, is that last to sit on Sharda Peeth was our Guru, Swami Nandalalji. The last Pujari was Prakash Swami Bhatt. His family is right now existing. You can talk to their sons. We have recorded videos. Then last to lock the Sharda Peeth in 1948. Even after tribal raids, even after partition, Swamiji continued to live there. He was kidnapped twice by tribals, but he continued to be there. His followers were Muslims also, particularly Zaman Mir Khan, the Nambardar or the Sarpanch of the village. We had about 23 Kashmiri Pandit families there. We had a lot of business out there. Vedalal Thusu, who owned 3 shops, Thusu family, one of whom gave lectures in your series also, their generation. So Vedalal Thusu was the only taxpayer in Muzaffarabad division. And that was the biggest trade hub, as well as the Karna hub, the Teetwal hub, where I have traveled recently. So Swamiji, being the last to maintain Sharda Peeth and sit on the Sharda Peeth, is an inspiration. So hence, I say to the Pakistan government or even our government, I have right to pilgrimage because I am down from that lineage. I have a right to pilgrimage. Number 2, my fundamental rights to religion are violated and vitiated because I feel like Islam people have the epicenter called Mecca. We have an epicenter where from Sanatana is born, that is the Sharda Peeth. So in any conflict zone, anywhere in the world, has prayer even stopped for a day? Be it Al-Aqsa Mosque, be it the church, or Turkey church, or Ireland, or any conflict zone, why has prayer stopped here for the last 72 years? That's what I have raised with the UN also. I have written to them also. Now comes the modalities where from it took an ugly turn. It is geographically, we have 10 districts in POK. The Kashmir part, Mandala, which is occupied by Pakistan. So in those 10 districts, we have one district which they have named as Neelam. So Neelam has 2 tehsils, Atmgam and Shardi. So Shardi is the tehsil record of our Sharda village. We had about 73 canals of land out there, but it's now encroached and it's hardly now about 12, 13 canals out there, for which I have been struggling, that encroachments and all should be removed. So that's what I come to the struggle part of it. But fact remains that during the Maharaja times rule, particularly Ranbir Singh and Pratap Singh, they were God-fearing. They gave a lot of fillip to this yatra, and we had 3-4 traditional routes. One of the routes was from Keran, which I have done LOC Keran Puja in 2020. Then I have another one route which is again in Kupwara belt. It is from Lidarwan to Jumar. And then we have another route which is there, which is from Teetwal. So at Teetwal, we have a small bridge. That's a wooden bridge which you saw in the documentary at the end. This wooden bridge is exactly divided into 2. So there is a white line at the center. So this white line denotes that half of the bridge is Pakistan, half of the bridge is manned by Indian government. So this thing, no congregation or nothing had happened here in the last 72 years. I was the first to do it on 14 September 2021 on the Sharda day. And coming back to the geography, so if the geographically we see, we had another route where Bandipura, Tarbal and all that. So these were the shortest, on foot routes. And the Yatra would start for 7 days. They would start with worshipping of walnut trees, applying sindoor. Then there would be base camps. The largest base camp was at Tikar. The Tikar is the place in Kupwada where Swamiji migrated from Sharda Peeth in 1948. So it's highly auspicious for us, and it's believed he carried some small idols also on horsebacks with the troop that came over, that Hindu group that came over from the present POK to our Kashmir. So those are lying in Kupwada, in Tikar. Those can be very well seen and watched. Now coming again to the geography, we have three rivers, confluence of three rivers, Madhumati, Kishanganga and Surasti. Madhumati and Kishanganga confluence join each other at one place, and downstream they get joined with Surasti river. Once upon a time, these Pakistani historians have also mentioned in their books, particularly I am referring to one book in Urdu, Sharda Tariq Irtikai Marahil by Khwaja Abdul Ghani. In this, he refers to this Surasti also, that milk would flow in Surasti once upon a time, which was even tested by scientists also. So that was the poisonous. Now this confluence of Saraswati, Kishanganga and Madhumati, this would form the most auspicious Sangam for Pitra Puja. The oblations would be made to the ancestors here, and this would be much auspicious for this particular belt, much auspicious than maybe Prayagraj or Gaya. I can't claim that, but a lot of people, once upon a time, the Sharda Desh, which used to extend from Cambodia to Iran, the whole this mandala was, Kashmir mandala was Cambodia to Iran, called Sharda Desh, with Sharda University as the capital and the oldest university. So this is the importance, and how can we forget all this? We have to see that how we have forgot this important site. This is most unfortunate. Right from 1948, we should have struggled to get this Peetham back. Even if it's not militarily possible, physically possible, but we should have found mechanisms of travel, or at least reviving it through the Hindus which are left in Pakistan, because we don't have any Hindu in POK. We have 10 districts out there. There's no Hindu presently, and there are 37 minority shrines which I have kept under Department of Archaeology. That's my struggle part of it. That's something else. But these 37 minority shrines have one Gurdwara also, Gurdwara Ali Beg in Bimbar. So could we preserve these sites, or just we left it as it is, particularly the Sharda Peeth? Now, if we can travel to Katasraj, Mahashakti Peeth, we can travel to Hinglani Raj Mandir. Now they have started Tehri also. Or even after 72 years, the present Pakistan government reopened Shivalia temple in Kashmiri Mohalla in Punjab, the Sialkot. Now the Sialkot temple is again a daring example. And after that the Kartarpur. Now Kartarpur opening between India and Pakistan, this paved a way, this paved a big hope for our struggle, which we have been continuing, that at least we can reopen Sharda or visit Sharda. I have been the person, I have the first Kashmiri Pandit to visit Kartarpur on 24th of November 2019. So if Pakistan and Indian government can allow me to go to Kartarpur, why not to Sharda? This point I have been raising many a times. And government, if time and again has been telling me this is POK, this is separate issue, this is Pakistan, Kartarpur, this is separate. No, I don't accept that, because I will come straight to the point of 2004 treaty between India and Pakistan, wherein Vajpayee ji and Musharraf decided, and a treaty was made for the divided families on LOC on both sides of Kashmir. So since 2007, there is a permit called LOC permit, which is in force since 2007, sorry. And then later on, they added trade also to that. and that permit allows divided families to travel on both sides of Kashmir. It's a, it's not a visa also, it's a permit. So this permit writes clearly this under Ministry of External Affairs. So India and Pakistan have both agreed that people from this side of Kashmir can travel to that side of Kashmir and vice versa based on this LOC permit. Now this LOC permit I have also applied. I also applied in 2018. This is the copy of it. And earlier also we have been students since 2005. We have applied first permits in 2005. So people can't tell me like it was alleged that during Modi's government only you raised this issue since 2014. Those stupid questions can't be entertained. Our first documentary proof with me is dating back to 2005. And in 2005, there was a big earthquake which damaged our Sharda Peeth, the main entrance also. Huge earthquake. And I remember there's a press cutting very clearly with me of a leading English paper from J&K, wherein Musharraf had invited Kashmiri Pandits, in particular writing Kashmiri Pandits, to assess the damage of the structure due to earthquake. But I don't know why didn't we go that time, because I think I was not involved in this struggle. But what all I have been doing now is that apart from holding dharnas, protests, awareness things on Sharda Peeth and reopening of the Sharda Peeth, I thought in 2015 this voice remains, confined to our side. I have done protests at Janpath. My brothers, my followers, my co-members have done protests and indefinite fast in Porbandar, in Jammu. We did protests in Srinagar, but that remained limited to our side. I thought we should develop a civil society across LOC also, so that voice is raised from there also. And I named this mission as Cross LOC Heritage and Religious Tourism. Under this, I say very clearly that like on LOC permit, which is in force since 2007, people can go and visit their relatives. There is a limitation in that LOC permit. One should have a relative, then only you get an LOC permit. The clear line is LOC permits are normally issued by RPO Jammu and RPO Srinagar to Jammu and Kashmir residents who want to visit their relatives living across line of control for valid reasons. So I don't have a relative. I thought my struggle is based that my Astha, my Sharda Peeth is across. That's my Guru's place. That's my Adi Shankaracharya's place. Okay, my Preetham lies there. So there is a LOC permit meant for J&K resident. I am a J&K domicile. I don't have a relative there. So there should be an amendment into this present rules. It should include annual pilgrimages also. So annual pilgrimages now under the treaty can't be one-sided, because I discussed this in Home Ministry. I discussed this with NSA, in PM's office and everywhere. It can't be one-sided. So we say, yes, they should be also allowed to one or two shrines out in our Kashmir. So we have named Hazrat Bal and Sar City for them. And this. Now question of security arises because NSA, we had a big meeting with NSA. Look, obviously question of security is there, infiltration is there, because this LOC is all porous. I have visited 35 kilometers of LOC. I have traveled along 35 kilometers of LOC. I see it's not fenced as we had the conception. It will be like a border-like situation. No, it's totally porous. The dividing line is only the Kishan Ganga River. So that Kishan Ganga River at many places no man's land, wherein we claim it's ours, wherein Pakistan claims it's ours. So question is that how to go about it is only that amendment in the LOC permit rules that initially I discussed with NSA that only 2 to 3 pilgrims will go. There is a regular bus service. There are 2 points, Udi, Muzaffarabad, and then in Jammu we have Punch, Rawla, Kot. So weekly bus service is there. We can travel on an LOC permit. That once it stabilizes for 3-4 years, then we can think of a bigger group of all Sharda followers all over India and go there. And let's bring Sharda Peeth live. So in this connection, my civil society right now across LOC, which comprises of all Muslims, every week I go and have a live darshana on my WhatsApp, on my messengers, live darshana. I am doing it again on 3rd of February this time. I'll be having a live darshana. I'll be in Shingeri on 3rd of February. So This people to people contact is very important. And in this society, one Rais Muhammad and particularly Tanveer Ahmed, they have played a very big role, very huge role. Not only the D-days, which we should count. First time flowers were laid on Sharda Peeth, and those flowers and that quiet soil was sent back to me by registered post to Delhi. That was in November 2016. That was the first D-day. We should mark and we should be very high praise for those Muslims. Then regularly flowers have been there. Then I sent a very big poster of Sharda Mai, which is a Surasti form of Surasti. I sent a huge poster 6 feet by 3 feet. They framed it and they installed it inside the Sharda Peeth. That was in March 2017. So that raised the voice there. This society started debating seminars. We had interviews by journalists. We had live interactions. And thereon, I found the another biggest thing that we didn't have any documentary proof or any documentation with POK government or Pakistan government. So first time a judgment came on Qatar Raj in 2017 November about encroachments of Qatar Raj, wherein a suo motu cognizance was taken by Chief Justice of Pakistan. He gave a judgment. I wrote to them that similar judgment may be passed about Sharda. So I got a telephonic call from Supreme Court of Pakistan on landline, and they are telling me we don't have jurisdiction. You have to write to POK of this Supreme Court of POK, AJK, what they call. I told him, what is this funny thing, sir? You can't have two Supreme Courts in one country, sir. You are saying that part is ours. He said, no, sir, there is a separate Supreme Court. So I wrote to the Supreme Court of what they call AJK, or let me say AJK only. So AJK is officially their Supreme Court, and my representation was placed before the Chief Justice of POK on 3rd of January 2018, and he was pleased to issue an order in my favor, which you showed in the documentary also. This is about the encroachment. He is giving some, some citations also, some Rahmatullah Khan, others about Gurdwara and this and all. So then I thought, which is the department which is looking after this Sharda Peeth? Because it is being guarded by Pakistan Army. So 5 AK Brigade is the army unit which is guarding our Sharda Peeth, right? So Pak Army. But which is the department? Some civil department must be there. So it is Department of Tourism and Archaeology. So I got in touch with them. I told them, sir, whenever I go live to Sharda, whenever I see videos, photographs, it has become an excursion spot. It never used to be an excursion spot. Sir, this is our temple. Sanctity of the temple should be maintained. You please put signboards at least, sir, this is a temple, and put a signboard outside it that you should put off your shoes before entering. So they asked me to dictate what should be written. I tried to convince them, you write this is Adi Shankaracharya's Sharda Peeth. I think they had some problem with those wordings and all that. Then I told them, you please write simply Sharda Peeth Mandir. They have written, they have installed, and an order was passed on 31st of December 2018 on my request, which order has a copy to BM5 AK Brigade, then Deputy Commissioner Neelam, that is POK SSP Neelam, and copy to me also, in which 2 signboards were erected here. So these documents show a lot. Then later on I started working on other 37 shrines also, and 27th of June 2019 an order was passed that all these shrines, minority shrines, have been taken over and taken over by archaeology department. Now, basically, the awareness level rose, the civil society played a big role, people to people contact mattered, and then I started requesting those guys, please send me some few shillas or some soil. It is very pious for me. I want to give it to Shankaracharya. They sent it by parcel. My parcel was twice rejected by Lahore Customs. But we worked, we were in tandem, and I told them, you please send me through bus service. So they sent me shillas and soil through bus service to Bandipur. I went from Delhi to Bandipur to collect those shillas. And I am proud to possess a 1 kg shilla of Sharda Peeth, which is in my possession. So at least I show to the world, this is the people to people contact. If I can't go to Sharda, Sharda cannot come to me, but Sharda shilla is with me, so I have invoked Sharda. So these are the things which matter. This is the force that matters. So then ultimately, during Kartarpur consultations and negotiations, what happened that I prevailed upon Pakistani Hindu Council, which is led by Dr. Ramesh Vatwani. He's an MNA there. I got into contact with him also. So he was sent by Imran Khan to assess the field situation at Sharda Peeth if it can be reopened. That was around March 2019. So there were speculations that after Kartarpur they may, open Sharda Peeth. So he went to the ground situation for 3 days. He has given a mail also to me. Pantaju, you will hear a good news. But I kept on waiting. There the fringe groups have raised a lot of questions about Hindutva, about other forces. I was dubbed as an RSS agent, and then they say first you open LOC trade and LOC this thing, then only Sharda Peeth will open. Some fringe groups said no, it should be allowed for Pakistani. So ultimately, this Dr. Ramesh Vatwani went back to Islamabad. There was a press release that initially Sharda Peeth will be reopened for Pakistani Hindus only, not for Indians. Internally, I have come to know from their meetings that Pak Army was supporting me and my group that Kashmiri Pandits will be allowed. But now the presser came open that it's meant for only. So I tried a different. I wrote a letter to Imran Khan, Vatwani ji also. I welcome, sir. Some Hindus should go. At least let's bring Sharda Peeth live. This should not remain like this thing in ruins. So at least you construct a Pujari hut. You place a Pujari from Peshawar or Karachi. We will be paying the salary from the community. I have written these letters. So these letters are with me. Every correspondence is with me. So then they started putting some rehabilitation plan and, they'll be renovating it, proposed, existing. They started. I raised objection again to this, that without consulting us, you can't put domes like this. Those domes are not acceptable to us. We should have that old type of, roof, what we used to have in 1890. You have that black picture of MST. So we'll be doing ourselves. So people raised voice. My civil society raised voice there. Without Kashmiri Pandits consultation, there should be no rehabilitation or renovation. So that's how people to people contact us. So ultimately, I got to know we will not be able to visit. Okay, fine. I prepared a couple. I started now thinking of preparing from SAARC countries, Bangladesh, Nepal. I started contacting Hindus from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka. I started preparing Nepalese because they have good diplomatic contact. You go to Sharda Peeth. So these groups, out of this, Venkatraman and Sujata, Tamil couple, they had to visit Katharaj. They got into contact with me. For 2 months, we worked out that they should go to Sharda Peeth. He applied for a visa, Hong Kong passport, Chinese national. The couple, Sujata and Venkatraman, got the visa to Sharda. But once they reached immigration department, after visiting Katharaj, they reached immigration department in Islamabad. They were told that you are Indian origins, we will not allow you. So they were refused to enter POK or AJK because you need an NOC to enter AJK. That's for even Pakistanis also, for foreigners also. Particularly foreigners cannot be allowed within 5 miles of the LOC. So that's some rules. But visa was granted not to Sharda. He had booked Hotel Highland. I remember I have his documents. He had booked in Sharda Peeth and he had to go to Sharda. But ultimately, we were not allowed in consultations. Even that time, I have spoken to PM of POK also, Raja Faro. I have done a lot of struggles. 4 days he remained there, and ultimately on the 5th day he was allowed somewhere in Patika on the banks of Kishan Ganga to perform puja. So at least some achievement on 4th October 2019. 4th October 2019, a Hindu couple performs Abhishekam Puja on Sharda land, first time in 72 years. And they got me shaligrams from there. And I have been visiting all the 4 Shankaracharya mats. And I think I have presented to all the 4 Shankaracharyas the pious soil and a shaligram to be kept at this at their places, because this property, these shilas don't belong to me. These proper place is Shankaracharya mats only. Because Adi Shankaracharya is our Guru, ultimately. He is the savior. I am there because of him. And this struggle is continuing. I have now come to the researchers part. Now, once that book across, this year we published a book on Sharda Peeth from our side. So this is Raja Najar Bunyari from Uri, our side. He is writing Sharda Peeth Tari Ke Aine Mein. The travel log basically. This we released in August 2020. I presented a copy of this to Ambassador, Acting Ambassador Charged Affairs of Pakistan here in New Delhi. He requested me second time I presented a memorandum to him. I have been pushing up Pakistan government also apart from our government. I have given this memorandum this February 2021 only to Pakistan embassy, and I have discussed for 1.5 hours. These are the letters to UN which have been sent because this UN Secretary General visited Kartarpur and he put a statement that people to people contact is a must in such issues. So I explained him in my letter. We have also people to people contact. Civil societies are agreeable. And this now we have shown, Shankar Saab, this is the point to be noted. This now we have shown practically this year 2021 when on Sharda Day. Now what is Sharda Day? Sharda Day is the annual Yatra of Sharda. Annual Yatra of Sharda is Bhado month, Shukla Paksh Ashtami. So Ashtami is a very important day for Kashmiri Hindus, Kashmiri Mandala whole. Nowhere in other parts I have found this Ashtami. Maybe Sankranti is there, Amavasya is there, other auspicious days are there. But Ashtami, miracles would happen at Sharda Peeth on Ashtami. So this miracle has been described by Al-Bruni. These miracles have been particularly described by Zainul Abidin Badsha in his books. Zainul Abidin Badsha was the last king of Kashmir. He was a great admirer and follower of Sharda Peeth. He has written that there used to be a sandalwood moti on which water vapors would appear on Ashtami, and people, followers would do sparsha, and that would be the darshana. And in Urdu, he has written, unki mannatein puri hoti thi. Like whatever desires I have, whatever mundane world files I have, I bow before Sharda and I get those problems, overcome or solved. That would happen on Ashtami. So that Ashtami, every Ashtami, Shukla Paksh Ashtami, we organize a Havan. We are on fast that day, and Kashmiri Pandits particularly have a lot of reverence for this Ashtami day. So coming again to this point, this Ashtami, sometime during 1870 or 1880, this decade, some people try to bring in this non-veg affair also. So later on, one of our senators, Mathura Devi, visited as a young girl, a 17 years old girl. She had Sharda Mai giving darshana, and she refrained people that there can't be practices of non-veg. So again, vegetarianism. There was a Dogra fort with 60 spies to guard it. This our Pujari Prakash Swami, he had 11 rupees salary and a bronze plaque by Maharaja. He would be the official Pujari. But unfortunately, our scriptures, our whole valuables, this all destruction took place in 1947 during the partition. None of the Kashmiri Pandits was allowed to take the valuables or the scriptures of this pious place. We lost the biggest library, which is most unfortunate. Now again, during digging and excavation, they got a lot of things. Even I am in knowledge of that. Sometimes they show me also, those smugglers. There's a mala, there is this small statue. Would you like to purchase it for 1,70,000? This is mala for 85,000. They try to lure me also. So that smuggling should be stopped. I have requested them to construct a Sharda center across also. And this year, AJK University, new president Sultan Barrister has earmarked the funds, and a Sharda center is being set up in AJK University, wherein the artifacts and scriptures will be maintained. Similarly, my recent visit to on 14th September Sharda Day to Teetwal, coming to that event at the last. This was primarily on the Sharda Day, wherein we discovered through the locals, we did not know, we received very well at Tangdar, about 40 Muslims locals of Tangdar, through army camp, because this is a militarized zone, you can't enter, it's a restricted area. So military officers also requested us that you should go to your land and do the Nariyal Puja. I told them, sir, we have come from Sanan. We will first offer Sanan and offer Puja at the Kishan Ganga river. Then we will go to the land. I was thinking, what miracles happen? Isn't the Sharda invoked? Yes, Sharda is invoked. That's why you are getting POK Supreme Court orders. That's how we are getting so much of culture revived back. Yes, Sharda is invoked definitely. And we should look forward to all these, because this 1947 land where we used to have the base camp, a small Dharamshala and a small Sikh Gurdwara, that Muslims are handing over to me, is a very small plot, but it's of historical importance. It's just not like any temple you can build 4 walls and do the plastering and snow and this is the temple Jai Shri Ram. No, it is a history. It's an heritage. So Sharda civilization, I have tried to know the extent of Sharda civilization also on the basis of Miami civilization in US. We had satellite imagery also, because Dr. Jitendra Singh has been helping quite a lot in this. He has been taking interest in the PMO. I requested him, sir, ISRO is under you, let's have a satellite image. So I sat in the ISRO board. We had about 30 supporters from across. You must have watched in the documentary. We had about 30 supporters, first time in 72 years, on the banks of Kishan Ganga. On one side of the bank are 30 supporters, Muslim supporters of POK. On this side, we are about 30 Kashmiri Hindus. And once we finished the puja, we hailed Jai Sharda, they hailed Nare Takbir, Allahu Akbar, and waving flags and greeting each other. So this is the people-to-people contact. This is the power. This is what we have to show. This is the awareness. So we have to push up the government. The struggle will continue, and struggle has been to the best of it. Now we have the published books also. We don't have not only the older books like Sharda Mahatmyam and all those things. Now we are the latest historians across Muslim historians who have been writing books now. Now I am myself into it. I will be also writing a book. So now we have prepared this Teetwal. We will be reviving. We have constituted a small temple committee, wherein I have kept in the temple committee some locals also there, and we are also there. One Sikh is also there. There are about 30 Sikh families out there. So that Gurdwara and the old Dharamshala, we are constructing an old ambience like Sharda Pit. We have come out with a vision document, and I have thrown it open, this vision document. We have opened an account in JK Bank in Teetwal only, and we are constructing the Sharda temple out there on that small piece of land, with the focus that Sharda University or a Sharda Center should also come up, for which we will involve government. We'll approach J&K government. I am meeting LG also shortly. We'll tell them that center or the university should be, yes, definitely constructed. We should buy land. You should pay compensation for the land. Building should come up. It should house artifacts, scriptures. We have a lot of artifacts there out in that area. And I am hopeful during digging, a lot of things will come out. So those should be preserved. Sharda Lipi at last. The Brahmi Lipi, which was the oldest. From that we have Sharda Lipi. Now Sharda Lipi is lost. I came to know recently through the researchers, Muslim researchers out here in Kashmir. They have written books also, that even Urdu used to be written in Sharda font once upon a time. Pahadi. Now Gurmukhi is a direct derivative. Gurmukhi has come out, Sikh Gurmukhi from this. Tibetan has come out from Sharda Lipi only. So preservation of Sharda Lipi is equally important. One of our core groups is working on that. I am leaving for Bangalore tomorrow morning. I will be in Bangalore for 3 days. Then I am proceeding to Shingeri. This trip involves that again the awareness, and hopefully this year we should come up with this heritage site of LOC Teetwal, which is of prime importance. And there is a snowballing. I tell you what happened once we started boundary wall construction on our side. There's hardly 500-meter gap in between, and that is the other side is POK Hill and Pakistani Army people, Rangers. Now once we started, they also started some construction that side. At our side objective to their construction, then this matter snowballed. I thought it's a gone case. but Sharda Mai prevailed. So ultimately it's resolved. That's a small dhaba being constructed across. So they are constructing it and we are constructing our temple this side. And hopefully I have done the designing for all the 4 mutts. 4 doors will be there in the temple and representing 4 mutts. And we will try that the center stage will keep a murti, the same ancient murti, Vigrah, and sandalwood murti, which used to exist at Sharda Peeth once upon a time. So that should be the spirit that now this murti we have copy replica of that from Shingeri Mat. We have involved some sculptor or whatever are the modality. So that's all Maharag Darshana and that will continue. And my struggle with the government this year only I have made 2 visits to Pak Embassy. I have reiterated my point that it's not a matter of politics only. I am not here to discuss 1994 resolution. I am not here to discuss the agenda of our politicians. We'll retrieve, we'll take POK back. This no. I am here as a civil society. My people live there also. They are all convertees, 1947 convertees. They are all Hindus, and we all belong to one race. Sharda civilization is ours, and we need to garner the support that this Sharda land should be back. Sharda Desha should be back with Sharda to its full glory. So the struggle will continue. Thank you so much. I think I have taken a longer time than expected, and I'll continue my way forward story next time if you allow me. And if some questions are there, I would like to take some questions, or you have any questions. Jai Sharda.
Jai Sharda. Thank you, Ravindraji. I think you summarized everything that you sent so far. Very nicely put. And you answered most of the questions what people will be having in their mind. So I think we have to term this session as an intro to Save Sharda. You covered so much material. We will call this as an introduction. So you're going to come back and your presentation and PowerPoint, you are not touched. We are going to do that. Already you know the time up. Just wanted to ask you one few questions to you, if it is okay with you. Now, if anybody lands in Pakistan, Islamabad or anywhere, a Western origin citizen, will they be allowed to visit Sharda Peeth, the location that we talked about? Will they can they visit if they don't have any Indian origin?
No. What is the rule? Rule, sir. Rule says that you can visit Pakistan on a valid visa, okay, on a passport. Now, we would not like to go to POK on a passport or this thing, because if we apply for a visa to POK, that means we are giving due recognition to that part is Pakistan. We will not encourage that. I am not with that. But you can go to Islamabad to Pakistan. From there, you have to seek NOC, no objection certificate, from Ministry of Interiors to enter AJK. AJK means POK. Okay. If you have to go to Neelam, you have to seek an NOC. That's what happened with Venkat Ramanji, and Venkat Ramanji is also here in this program, sir, this time. He is very much listening. He is very useful. You should call him also in the program, sir, someday. Venkat Ramanji went to immigration. He booked a tourist cab, taxi to Muzaffarabad from Islamabad. He was not allowed in from immigration center. They don't give you in writing anything. What they say verbally, you are Indian origin. We will not allow you. So what can you do? I requested Venkat Ramanji, you go to the higher officer. We are in touch. He went to the higher officer. Higher officer is not having even eye-to-eye contact. He is totally refusing. No, you can't. So what is all this? They are closely monitoring that India, while they are allowing Chinese delegations and mocks, Buddhist mocks are coming regularly there. There are people from Vietnam who are coming. Now I am trying, Nepalese should visit, Bangladeshi Hindus should visit, Sri Lankans should visit. At least Nepal will be very easy. I have prepared 2 or 3 people from Nepal. They will be visiting shortly in this summer, because Nepal has a good diplomatic relations with Pakistan. So they will be allowing them. So let them go. Now Venkat Ramanji has applied again for the visa, but his visa will not be allowed, I am sure, because this story which came up, I did it in a proper fashion, but my media spoiled it. I am very sorry to say, Indian media. What we did,
You already see a full discussion there. You see.
I will tell you, sir, what happened, sir. Sir, the soil which I have, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
The soil which is in my possession, this time during construction of Ram Mandir at Ayodhya, I sent it to VHP to Ram Mandir Foundation, Shilanya. Now, Indian media, particularly our national channel, projected it in a very bad fashion. They just put the stories that हमने इमरान खान को पता ही नहीं रखा, हमने चाइना से हांगकांग से मिट्टी मंगवाई, फिर हमने यहाँ राम. It's not like that. My statement was very clear. For a pious work, I am using a pious soil, so it should not hinder anyone. So it didn't hinder even my Muslim society out in field. But if the media projects it like that, so Venkat Ramanji was highlighted that he has stolen and imported it via China and Hong Kong to Ram Mandir. So that I think that may be one of the reasons that our government is watching that second time his visa was not granted. So you can go to Pakistan, but they are not allowing you to enter AJK to Sharda Peeth particular. Maybe you will be allowed up to Muzaffarabad. My Kashmiri Pandit Omkarnath Kaul, a linguistic professor, he was allowed for a seminar.
To all the foreigners, that case.
Twice he was allowed to deliver his lecture in AJK University in Muzaffarabad, 2017 and 18, 2 consecutive years, but only in Muzaffarabad. So Sharda they don't allow. Sharda they have a problem. Yes, sir. Next.
Very good. So we close our program today, and I will reschedule your slot. Maybe it's going to be more slots for you. You have so much material. We will treat this as an intro to Save Sharda. And once again, we thank you for taking the time to appear in our program. It's your tight schedule and travel. And you also mentioned earlier that there was no revival and no interest. That where you come in. You are reviving the whole thing for the time you spent. I think it's a great support to the government and to the Hindus here. Once again, thank you. And we also would like to thank one of our local leading newspaper in India. That is Dinamalar, which is giving lots of publicity. And you see the Tamil connection now. You could see Venkatraman from Hong Kong visiting Sharda, and local newspapers are writing about our Kashmiri programs. We also thank Kamakodi.tv and all the YouTube and Facebook channels. And of course, BDSP, Raja, who has been helping us a lot. He compiled all this information today from Ravinderji. So thank you very much. And then we look forward to seeing Ravinderji in our future programs. We are now programs up to April. So we will continue to update you about oncoming programs. Always don't forget to tune in on Saturday, same time. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara.